Hi again, everybody. We're on the deck of 43920 Soul Food. As I mentioned down below, she is a Greystone non-skid, the Greystone hull with the off-white deck. Obviously, this has become our most popular option on the exterior of the boat. She is very well equipped as far as the deck goes. They've got all electric furlers. They do have the synchronized mainsail system, and that's where you push this green button, the mainsail comes out. You push the red button, the mainsail goes back in. So really handy. The helmsman never has to leave the wheel to bring out the mainsail. The only thing you have to do for preparation is you have to wrap the outhaul around the Seldine 3-speed winch there on the port cabin top. So really nice system, very popular, very safe, and very easy, especially for short-handed sailing. Our instructor, who has logged over 14,000 miles on the 439, with most of them having the system on it, says that it operates very well in high wind conditions for reefing the sail. He really likes what's going on and likes this. At first he was a little skeptical, but after logging 14,000 miles, he actually loves the system. We were out sailing with him this last week, and he was bragging about, all the stuff that it does and how it's reefed in, 30, 40, 50 knots of wind and has had no issues at all, which sailing with, single-handed or, as a couple, it's nice to have that safety advantage. The normal Yanmar display, it's a digital display, and then the Yanmar start, stop, and power buttons. This is for the head sails. So we've got the reacher out, the reacher in, the jib out, the jib in, all done from right here in the cockpit. So obviously you have to bring in the jib sheet or the main sheet while you're doing it. No, excuse me, the jib sheet or the reacher sheet while you're doing it. But you can't get any easier than with electric winches. So the blue is always the reacher sheet, the red is always the jib sheet, and the green is always the main sheet. It does come down to both primary winches, so you're able to trim the sails, you're able to deploy them, or put them back away with on either side of the boat. So it doesn't matter what tack you're on. We have the in and out buttons on both sides. So now we're on the starboard tack, where we have the controls as well for the jib and the reacher, and of course another electric winch controller. 2-speed Harken 60s, very high quality winches, and they get the job done. All right, obviously the stern rail seats, solid rails to the gate, gives you the ability to put a barbecue up there, or man overboard sling, or anything you'd like. We've got our arch, obviously. We've got our arch lights on the blue. They've got its multicolor lights controlled with the key fob. And then we've got twin 425 watt solar panels. Because they did the electric cooking inside, this now can become a cockpit icebox. So it does obviously have a drain down in the bottom of it, because for a propane locker that we use for the gas boats, it has to have a drain. But this really now has become a very cool place for the cockpit drinks. Shallow locker here, about 4 inches deep, because that is over the aft berth. And then this is the deeper locker here that leads into the utility room, that allows you to drop your fenders down in that back wall area, or bulkhead area, and it will store 4 of the 12-inch fenders. Cockpit flush mount cockpit speakers here, nicely done. All right, we'll move along here. Smoke, as we mentioned, canvas. So we have the Iverson Dodger, their connector panel with windows now. You can see the 2 windows we've done, and then the Bimini top here. So the windows started with the 2024 model year in the connector piece. So if it's stormy or rainy, and you don't you can leave the connector on, and then it gives you the ability to see easier what's going on with the mainsail. Okay. Shore power connector in this locker here. Believe it or not, I have wound 2 50-foot 30 amp cords up in this locker, and if you do it the right way, you can actually, they both will fit. The boat does have twin 30 amp power. I prefer that versus over a single 50. The 50 amp cords are just so heavy to deal with. All right, we're up here on the deck. As I mentioned below, we have not gotten the mainsail up yet. We did do the standard Anto halyard slider system. Obviously the standard granny bars, the standard Selden hydraulic boom vane. As we mentioned, it does have the Greystone deck with the off-white, excuse me, the Greystone non-skid with the off-white deck. You know, we do nice flush mount fuel and water fills, and obviously holding tank pup out. We do dual spring line cleats. All right, and then up here on the bow, you can see that, you know, our standard low fringe Tigris windlass. We have chain on one side, and then the ability to do rope and chain on the other. He did the looks like the standard 65-pound Mantis anchor and 400 feet of chain. And then this is inside the locker. You can see that 400 feet of chain actually fits quite well. And that's a full barrel. I mean, unless you splice it, you can't get any more chain than 400 feet. That is 3/8 high test chain. We give you a nice shelf for it to slide down. We give you places to store your lines or your fenders in here as well. And then, of course, if he ever wants to add a second anchor, he does have that ability. The windlass is operated from a toggle switch in the cockpit, as well as up-down deck controls right here. And then he does have the raw water washdown as well as the freshwater washdown. As you can see, the twin Furlex electric furlers. So again, they're operated from the cockpit, and you know, if you ever do have a problem, let's say, you know, you lose all 12-volt power, there is a gear right here that you can put kind of a box that they give you. The box is about the size of my hand, and it has a continuous loop line on it, and you would stand here and do kind of this thing to roll up the jib and the reacher. So there are provisions if you should not be able to do it electrically. Not something obviously you want to do all the time, but in emergency, or, you know, if you had a failure, you could get the sails back in. I can see that he did do a camera up on the bow. So he's got the camera up there, that's below the nav light. And I want you to notice we give you a nice substantial bow pulpit. It seems like so many manufacturers these days don't even hardly give you a bow pulpit at all. I can't imagine doing any really serious cruising or sailing without the ability to come up here and feel safe, especially in heavy seas if you needed to, or something like that. Obviously the boom is gone. No more staysail or jib boom. We do the Harkin self-tacking track. Works really well. Our instructor and delivery skipper, Harv, loves the self-tacking track versus the boom. And in fact, we've actually retrofitted a couple of boats. Looking back, you can see again the smoke canvas with the, what is that, like a kind of a black trim or dark gray trim. All right. You know, if you want to look at the mast here quickly, we do have spreader lights going down, and of course that's our foredeck light. We also have lights that are pointed up on both spreaders as well. So at night it really illuminates the mast and the boat nicely. You can certainly spot her in an anchorage or on a mooring, and that makes it nice. All right, you guys, I think that's going to wrap it up here for the video on 43920 Soul Food. We're looking forward to delivery with our owners this afternoon after lunch, and we want to congratulate Bill and Paulette for their purchase. and we wish them obviously many, many fun and memorable miles on board Soul Food. Thank you again, and God bless.